Alright, what is up, dudes? We are level 38 on the monk. We are in the Dreadlands. Let me delete some of this cash. I went to the vendor, I swear. But now we have different stuff in our bags. We are just about to hit level 39. We are in, you notice my name is, ooh, hello. Notice my name is Red. My bags are always full because I only have so many bags. Monk stuff, I guess. Oh no. Is it doing that again? Oh shit. Oh, it went off. Why is my Discord pinging again? Where the fuck did he go? Do a little dance. Alright, well, well, that wasn't good. I think we might have to wait for him to come back to beat my ass. Let me go ahead and fix my Discord here. One second. Alright, sorry about that. So close to the beginning. Now I have streamer, I have it automatically enabled, and it always has done it, always in the past. But I don't know, these last 2 times now when I go to record a video, it's not automatically doing it, and I don't realize it's not doing it until it's too late. And you know how Discord is. That thing is always going off. All right, so the Yeti that I feared came back. He's right there. I don't know what happened, but he de-aggroed. He came back. So let's fight this one. He should be busy over there for a minute. He came back to the front of the cave. Alright, so, man, that threw me off. 96% in to level 38, so we're in a ding here. We are at the Yetis. Okay, my name is Red. We are in the PvP instanced version of the Dreadlands. Let's kill this guy real quick. Oh, kill him. Kill him! I would love to get this guy before he enters. Alright. I've been working on intimidation. It's going up. So it's getting up there. It's 87 now. It's fearing quite often. Which, if I'm wearing the staff, it makes it a little more complicated. Right now I don't have the staff on. I have boots on. Intimidation just went up again, even though it's not popping off. Okay, so if we slash who's in the zone, it's just me. If we slash who all Dreadlands, there are 6 people in the Dreadlands, but they're not in my Dreadlands. So the differences between the PvP zone and the regular zone is, as far as I could tell, because I really wasn't paying attention to the PvP stuff. It was all kind of coming out when I first made that Beast Lord solo self-found hardcore. So there was no reason for me to pay attention to the goings-ons of PvP. So I just didn't pay attention to it. But now that chapter is in the past, you know, looking into it here. Oh, this guy's a beefy boy. So we're gonna go ahead and put on the staff. Depending on what level they are, they're all going to be dark blue, but the high dark blues kind of beat me up a bit. Oh, but I did ding. I am 39 now. We didn't get the ding, but I noticed it there. So the difference is, obviously, anybody could come and kill me. Or I could find somebody and kill them. PvP is enabled. Outside of that, The differences are the XP rate. All XP rates are boosted to 1.1, I believe. At least the post from when they very first enabled them. I'm going off of the post. I don't know if something's changed. It's too long ago and it's hard for me to find it. So I just found the initial post and this is what I'm going off of. But when you enter the PvP zone, it is up to it is changed to 1.1 experience, which is the equivalent of, I think, 146%. If you look at like the Zem. Dreadlands is normally 133, which is 1.0. But this should bump it up to 1.1, which is the 146. So it's a little bit better XP. Ooh. And on top of that, it's 2x drops. So you can see where this is more beneficial when it comes to dungeons and killing some of the named mobs in dungeons. So I went with the boys this morning to Cebalus, and we went into the PvP Cebalus. And while we were in there, we killed some names, and they dropped double loot. So like the Fungus King drops, he always drops a shirt and a staff, always. So when you kill him in the PvP zone, he drops 2 shirts and 2 sticks. So they're the no drop ones, but. So what I notice here killing the Yetis is it feels like they just drop more often. You can see I got a couple of opals, I got a jade ring, flawless, all this kind of stuff, a bunch of flowers. Now you can get this stuff anyways, but they just drop more often. See, like this. Would I have gotten 2 of the flowers if I was in the normal zone? Probably not. Is it a big deal? Not really. This is going to be a bigger deal again when you're in dungeons or something like that. Of course, in the dungeons, you're more likely to run into people. Nobody's really in the PvP zone here in Dreadlands because it doesn't really matter. There's nothing like that fruitful here besides having the zone to myself. When I was on the Beast Lord, I was killing Yetis. But we would oftentimes find that the Yetis were camped. So now, I've been here twice now. Or 3 times, really, on this guy. I've been here 3 times, really. And nobody's ever in the zone, any of the times. Whatever. What? You can't throw shit on the ground in PvP zones. You can't disarm mobs in PvP zones. I was getting my disarm up. But you can't disarm mobs in PvP zones. I don't know if that means you can't get your skill up, but my skill wasn't going up, and I was like, well, let me, utilize intimidation anyways. Let's go with this. So the other thing about PvP zones, though, if you don't know, is that the spawn rate is back to normal. So it's like whatever, like P99 spawn rates, basically. Whatever the full spawn rate is. They're not like the hyper spawns. For this zone, I don't think it matters. For some of the dungeons, it does matter. So these are the normal, like what, 8 minutes or something like that? Or whatever they are. So this will respawn here pretty shortly, probably like 2 minutes or so. So if you need to med, you have time. But when you're in a dungeon, like for instance, you've probably been in dungeons recently and you notice when you're in a dungeon, sometimes it's hard to keep up with your camp because the mobs are just crazy, right? The respawns are just nuts. So instead of pulling like 3 different rooms, you're really only pulling like 1 room or so, whatever the case is. Well, you'll notice now if you go into a PvP zone dungeon, the respawns, they'll stay dead for quite some time. So maybe you like that better, maybe you don't. It's just something to be aware of. So although things drop double loot, their spawn is reduced by a lot, sometimes more than what double would be. You know, if it goes from 20 minutes down to 8 minutes or whatever, obviously 8 times 2 is 16, so it's even slower. But, you know, when you do get that named mob, it'll drop twice, whatever this means to you. Now we have Karner's Castle. I guess with the PvP zones, you can go into any PvP zone that, what I'm trying to say is, the zones that have a PvP variant are the ones that have an instanced variant for raiding. So, for instance, the Dreadlands has Gornair here. So there's there's a, like the book from Plane of Tranquility, Plane of Knowledge, and so most guilds use that to get into the raid zone, but you can also use that to get into the PvP version if PvP is enabled. So I'm going to utilize this to try to get, especially like on the weekends when it's busy and everywhere's packed, you can try to do this. Now, there are people who are hostile. Sorry, Jesus. There are people who are hostile. And they will kill you. So there's a couple things you can do to try to avoid that. Is one, try to get, if you're in a dungeon, maybe try to get deep into that dungeon. So that there's a lot of mobs between the entrance and you or your group or whatever. Maybe travel in groups. There is like some guilds who will send like a little small raid, like 1 or 2 groups, and they'll go just to kill people for fun. Stuff like that. So it is something to be aware of. But when you go in, you can slash the zone and just keep tabs on who's there, who's not. Probably keep anonymous on so they don't know, If they see your level and you're lower than they are, then, that might incentivize them, or that might entice them to seek you out and kill you. But if you're anonymous and they don't know what level you are, there's a chance they'll just be like, or maybe they see you're a class that they can kill easily. I mean, if you're a powerful class, maybe you don't go anonymous. But if you're, I don't know, a warrior, and then there's some sort of caster, and they're like, well, I can just fear this warrior, or whatever, they think. Not to say warriors are weak, but that's just an example. If they feel like their class can counter your class. Damn, he tore me up pretty quick there. So the XP is pretty good here. It was pretty good in Furiona Vi. Now there's plenty of zones that I wish had PvP variants due to the double loot. For instance, imagine Ocean of Tears had a variant, PvP variant, and you're killing sisters, and they're dropping double the swords, right? Because if they have a guaranteed drop, then they're gonna drop 2 of them every time. So another option was like Grob. If like Grob had a PvP variant for what, just an example. You saw how much money I was making in Grob, just raw plat. Imagine that doubled. This is the possibility, but you gotta find your little hidden gem of a farm spot in a PvP zone. Something like that. So when it comes to which zones are PvP, you could think to yourself, it's anything that has like a raid target in it, pretty much. And then shit, I just got clippity clapped. I was sitting down. Here, this will let us regenerate. It's kind of hard to keep up with them. But oh shit. Oh, we were doing it. Here, let me get there. We are doing it, I guess. But let me take that off. There we go. What is that? The microphone's moving in real time. Intimidation's it's a little bit annoying, but it can also save me like hit points, you know. You're regenerating while not taking damage. So that's nice. Alright. Now we're kind of far away from the mobs we're supposed to be killing. Let's get back there. So I know we just did Yetis on the Beast Lord. I guess we did Fury on Avai on the Beast Lord as well. But we went to Fury on Avai on the Beast Lord really late, and I wanted to do it much earlier on a different character to check it out, and it checks out. It's really good. It's really good over there. I like that a lot. So I'm gonna be doing that probably on more characters, kind of part of my leveling path. The Fury on the mobs are just so weak. This one's, you know, Yetis is on everybody's kind of leveling path pretty much. So nothing special here, but we did just do them. We didn't do these Yetis because we're in the North Cave. This is like the lower level cave. On the God damn it! I can't put stuff on the ground. I gotta stop picking that up. You can't, or I mean, we did the higher level cave. This middle one here on the Beast Sword. So same thing, same zone. Different Yetis. These are Tundra Yetis. Those were Glacial Yetis or something like that. Glacier Yetis. Glacial? I don't know. And they're higher level. That's not to say we end up over there one day. But I don't know. They kind of clap. We're going to have to start grouping here pretty soon, I would imagine. We're getting into our 40s here. Once we ding one more time, we'll be 40. And so, yeah, grouping is right around the corner. So we'll end up doing some more of that. We also have an emerald down here in my inventory that we got. I would like to go into Karner's Castle on with PvP mode enabled. Something I would like to do. Even if you're just doing like the captain group, which is like what I was doing on the Beast Lord and what I had done with a couple of other buddies, is on my Necro is, you know, he spawns pretty often. You can clear that place out pretty quick. Even though most of them are light blue to the Necro at 60, I was still getting good XP. Because 60 doesn't require that much XP. It's like one of those balance things. You lose so much. You lose 20% when you die, so they made it not that bad to level. It feels like level like 50. Well, like, yeah, it feels like level 50 when you're level 60. Oh, my mend worked. That was great, because we were kind of getting our ass beat. I think we just got a lot of the higher level spawns in a row this round, which is not really normal. This is one of my worst rounds that I've had. This one's beating me up too. Looks like we're gonna make it without downtime, and then we have downtime between this this and the next. But imagine, you know, the captain spawns quite often. So imagine you're fighting the captain, you know, you get him to spawn a decent amount of times. And then he's got those, the cobalt gloves, right? And those things vendor for 400 plat. You could sell them for 400 plat to a player, but the time and effort, and I don't really like hanging out in the tunnel too much. And yeah, you could 2-box and alt tab and all that, but just maybe keep one pair and try to sell it over time. But you know, they drop pretty decently, so you can just vendor them. But it's now that I think about it, I think they're lower, so that kind of sucks. You got to get rid of them somehow. Make a run to Furion Vi or something to the vendor. But you're more likely to get a pair when he's dropping double the loot. Imagine imagine dropping a killing a skeletal warlord, and he drops 2 tranquil staffs. How insane would that be? I mean, it's got to be lore, but you know, if you're in a group of 2 people or something, yeah, that would be crazy. What's this? Crystal key. Is that the first floor or the second floor? Does it tell you? No, it just says 1. Game 2 of the NBA Finals is tonight. That's going to be crazy. Looking forward to that. I was talking about that in the last video, I think. I was talking about Game 1 was that night of the recording of that video, and now we've got Game 2. It's going to be tonight, pretty soon here, actually, about an hour. So super excited for that because Game 1 was a barn burner. That thing was wild. I don't know if any of you, well, I know a couple of you do watch watch NBA, but man, wild stuff for sure. So you can see we're already at 100% life. I mean, with the fungi stuff, you get to 100% so freaking fast. But our XP per hour is at 139. That's with the potion. I did sit here I did do rounds here without the potion. And you get about 80% an hour. This was at level 38. I was getting 80% an hour. And I did, you know, quite a few rounds to let it even out. Because as you can see, I'm losing percentages as I sit here doing nothing. So, you know, the longer we do this, the more stable the XP per hour will become. I'm assuming it's going to stabilize at about 120% because previously I was at 80%. So you add 50% of 80, which is 40, you're going to put you at 120%. So that's what I'm assuming will stabilize around, give or take, because that was at level 38 and we are now level 39. So that is going to affect it in some way. Go ahead and delete the coin. Check the zone, see if anybody's here. Nobody's here. Now if you do /who all Dreadlands, it does say I'm there. So there's 7 players in the Dreadlands. And you can see that I am one of them. Now, you know, I don't know. If you're in the normal Dreadlands and you just do /, maybe there's a way to figure it out, right? If you are in the Dreadlands and you just do /, I probably won't show up. So if somebody is keen enough and crazy enough, they could be like, hey, when I /who all Dreadlands, there's 7 people. But when I / and I'm in Dreadlands, there's only 6. Where's this other person? You know, you could probably figure it out. And if you're not anonymous, that person could be like, hey, I got 20 levels on that guy. I'm gonna go find him and kill him. It could happen. Now, a lot of you are probably, especially EverQuest players, a A lot of you are thinking to yourself, no, nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's gonna go out of their way doing all of that. Mend worked, that was great. And that's true for 99% of people, especially EverQuest players. But not PvP-oriented players. Like if this was World of Warcraft, where PvP is kind of the norm, if you're not playing on a PvE server. The only time I've ever played on a PvE server was doing hardcore. But other than that, I've never played on a PvE server on WoW. But there are very much people who just spend their entire day figuring out how to kill people. Especially on hardcore, even hardcore on PvE servers. This is something funny about World of Warcraft, and now it's harder now. It's harder now that there's official PvP server, hardcore servers. But before there were official WoW hardcore servers, you know, there was like a small community playing WoW hardcore, and there was an add-on to try to keep everybody in check. Blah 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 blah. Gone over this a million times. Always talking about WoW lately, but anyways, and the thing with that is that people would find creative ways. Like one of the most simple of ways is like now not everybody's playing hardcore also, because you know it was makeshift, right? So you're on a PvE server, a normal PvE server, so people can't attack each other without consent. But then somebody would have a level 60 warlock that's not hardcore or whatever, and then they would cast an infernal, which turns on its master and just becomes aggro on everybody. So they'll go into, like, you know, a level 30 town, the infernals, whatever, level 60 or whatever, and they'll go into like a level 30 town, which people have spent days or weeks to get to level 30, and then they'll just drop an infernal and then walk away. The infernal will turn hostile or whatever. Maybe the warlock dies, they don't care, they're not playing hardcore. And then it kills, you know, the level 30s that are around you. Or people will train dragons, or they'll train stuff on you. Obviously, the WoW community is a pile of dog shit compared to the EQ community. So there would be less of that going on here, and we're a private server, so I don't know what the rules are, honestly, but I would think, you know, if you're going out of your way, like in regards to hardcore, not PvP, probably everything goes. But if you were going out of your way to get a hardcore player killed, pretty sure like Secrets or whoever would step in, and maybe your death is your death. They're not going to revive you probably, but they'll probably ban, you know, the person who's like going above and beyond and completely out of their way to do nothing but get you killed. I'm pretty sure. Because, you know, even zone disruption is some sort of an offense to the server. So that's way worse than zone disruption. But anyways, you know how World of Warcraft is. Nobody cares. GMs don't care. Nobody cares. And at the time you were playing, like, you know, a made-up mode. That wasn't even real, so. Along those same lines, I think people started playing on an RP server, and they're like, I'm RPing that I only have one life. And now you're disrupting my RP. You know, if you don't want to RP, why are you on an RP server kind of thing? So they tried to, like, they tried to get a loophole. Am I early? Oh, no. Okay. I thought maybe I forgot a spawn in the last room. Now this should be a set amount of XP, obviously, because we have a set amount of spawns. You know, we're not like in Furiona Vi, where there's mobs everywhere, there's endless amounts of mobs, and we're just killing as much as we can, and we're not stopping. Here we have a set amount of mobs. We have 3 in here, 3 in the other room, 1 in the cubby, and then we have 1 pat. So that's a grand total of 8 mobs. So we're killing 8 mobs a cycle. I think it's an 8-minute cycle, but I'm not paying attention. Something that could easily be looked up. I only ever seem to fear when the mob's already running, which is kind of funny. Earlier, when I wasn't recording, I was getting fears off all the time. It was pretty good. As fear goes up, it'll start working more often. I did see a monk, and it is intimidation. It's not quote-unquote fear, but that's what it does. But it's already gone up. Within this recording, it's gone up like 5 or 6 times, so it's moving now. I threw a bunch of skills in it to kind of like get it higher. Plus, we got the potion running, which is going to make it move faster. But I saw a monk who assumingly had it pretty high. That was at the giant fort in Burning Wood when I was over there on my Beast Lord? Yeah. It's weird saying my Beast Lord because I don't have one anymore. But it was my Beast Lord. Anyways, when I was over there leveling the Beast Lord, they were getting fears off every single mob. Every single mob was running, and it's kind of annoying because certain mobs, like those giants, haul ass. So I got to imagine it was kind of annoying. But, you know, if you have Journeyman's Boots, you're pretty good. But at the same time, you kind of want fungal regrowth on because it's so helpful when it comes to downtime. It would be cool. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'd be overpowered. But if like the raw plat is doubled, I can't approve or deny that. I don't know. But they're all dropping plat. 1 plat, 2 plat, 2 plat, 2 plat, 1, almost 2 plat, 2 plat plus 7 gold, 2 plat. Maybe. I don't know. I need to check my phone real quick, so I'm going to pause while we wait for the next spawn. Alright, we are back in action. So according to PQDI, these are 10-minute spawns. So you got 9 mobs, you got 10 minutes. I'm sure you kill them faster than 10 minutes like I am, and then you have whatever leftover time to met up your mana or regenerate. Again, there's nothing, there's no breaking news here. This is just the Yeti camp that we all know and love. It's just that we're in the PvP instance. Getting slightly better XP. Double the drops. And, you know, these are known for gem drops. These are known for gem drops. Which I never seem to have too much luck with. But as you've seen, we're getting them. And that is basically due to them being doubled. Now, it is to my understanding, if something's a guaranteed drop, you get 2 of them. If something's not, if something has a loot table, then the stuff on the loot, on the variable loot table, you basically, you know, just will get you know, stuff twice as often. You can get more than the one thing. Oh shit, I forgot about the Pat. I should have stayed up there, but he walked to us. That's fine. So like the sisters, I'll go back to the sisters. They always have the long sword. The belt isn't always. It's just like 99% of the time. Or like 90%. So I think the sword, you'll just get 2 every time. The belt, you'll likely just get 1 every time, pretty much. Because I think you're going to have a 90... Well, maybe you get 2 pretty often. Maybe. So you'll have like a 90% twice. So most often you'll get 2, but sometimes you'll get 1, and very rarely you'll get none. I guess if it procs the 10% twice, and I'm just making these numbers up. But that's how I think it works in my head. And maybe that's your question, you know, oh, well, earlier, you know, you looted a, what was it, an opal, but it was only 1. Why wasn't it 2? It's double loot. And I think that's why I explained that. I think that's how it works. Quite a few misses there. Get. How are we doing? Oh, we're below. We're at 114. I guess another variable for the XP per hour is going to be how, you know, because the mobs range in level as well. So if you continuously get lower level mobs, then your XP is going to be lower than if you continuously got the higher level mobs. All of it's RNG, so I guess that'll add, you know, some RNG into the XP per hour, I suppose. And once again, we're one level higher, so our XP per hour should go down. Because we're not killing more mobs because we're higher level, we're killing the exact same amount of mobs as we are a higher level. So we're about to hit 40, which is going to be another hell level, I suppose, which shouldn't be too bad, but you feel a little something. I'd like a Peridot. We're gonna have to get rid of one of these pages. Oh my god, you guys know how I'm always complaining about birds? A bird. So there's crows outside all the time. There's lots of crows in this area. That's pretty normal. I think there's a lot of crows everywhere, for the most part. But there's a giant tree in my front yard. Massive, massive, like, pine tree. Massive. It's like 3 stories tall. It's huge. Might be 2 stories tall. Whatever. Massive. Now, a bird started to have, like... Birds must have just had... They must have a nest in there. And the crow's nest, that's like a bar, right? In like Kinos or something. Well, there's like a baby, I don't know, at least one baby crow or something in there. And man, that guy goes apeshit. But I think most of the time, it happens during the day, like right about now, which would be, say, like prime time, server time or whatever. Evening hours. But I had a day off of work, and I played today with the boys in Seb. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. We went to the PvP version of Seb and killed some mobs. Did I mention that? I feel like I did. Anyway, so I woke up early to, you know, play, but on my days off, this bird starts crowing early. Not as early as like a rooster, but man, this little baby bird's just screaming. Like for food or for whatever. And even every once in a while, like the parent crow or whatever will like scream back at it, like, shut up. At least in my mind, that's what he's saying. But I'm hoping this thing grows up fast or whatever, because it's like so high in the tree that, you know, throwing rocks or whatever is not going to do anything. I need these things to shut up. At least at nighttime, or when the sun starts going down, there seems to be nothing. And overnight, there's no noise or anything. It's just during daylight hours, but I'll open my window when I'm, you know, playing EQ. Open the window in here and see if my cat chills. Did he resist that? Your target resists your fear spell. Aha! They call it fear, I'm calling it fear. And with the window open, the bird can be like really annoying. Well, hopefully it just grows up fast and, you know, shuts up. That's what I'm hoping for. Most of the time I'm at work all day anyway, so it doesn't really bother me too much. I just thought it was funny, because I'm always complaining about birds. And now there's more birds. These are less controllable, as they are wild. Oh, wow. That fear wore off quick. We got our ass beat pretty good, but that should be good for the XP, I guess. So, okay, let me see if I can do this and maybe that. And we can pull this over here. So this is what I was looking at. It's probably pretty small. But some of these are instanced. Like this is like the raid zone, so it's 2 days, 18 hours. But this is like the normal Dreadlands. It's 10 minutes. So that's where we're at. One other thing was, what else was it? Oh yeah. So the other thing is this. I'll make this bigger. So this is what I was going off of. The following block of text applies to a PvP instance. Oh yeah, that's another thing I failed to mention, is the XP loss is limited to 1%, but when you get rezzed, it doesn't do anything. Besides res you, it doesn't like return XP. Also, if you die in here or deep into a dungeon, it'll shoot your corpse out. So that's actually a cool thing for melee. Say you're a melee and you're like, oh, I don't want to go into Kasora. I don't want to drop down into Kasora, and then how am I going to get out? I got to worry about like getting back out or whatever. Long story short, and you just want to go down there. Now, if you kill yourself when you're down at the bottom, if you kill your character or maybe you're in Cebalus, you know, and you jump down, you go into jail, you go over to the fungus area. There's an exit right there. I don't know. Say you're deep somewhere and you just can't get out or whatever. If you kill your character, you know, wait 30 minutes, it'll spit your corpse out. So that's pretty cool. And you can get your corpse back. So if you are a melee and you do want to explore a little bit and not really have a worry, then it only is going to cost you 30 minutes and 1%. But, you know, if you're going to log off for the night, you know, you just take, well, yeah, I guess you got to get back there. So you got to buy a port to get back to your body, but your body will be outside the zone. I don't know, something to keep in mind. I mean, if I was a melee, I'd be, you know, less worried about getting my corpse back. It's nice. Now, what was that? Am I tripping? I thought I heard something. Tripping. PvP paranoia. So, indoor rules apply regardless of the zone type. PB AoE cap raised to 72 mobs. Oh yeah, there's also a leash thing that happens. This can affect your pets. Like if you're an enchanter and you take a pet and you run, you know, you take your pet really far, you're crawling through the dungeon, and then the pet breaks, and I think it could leash. But here you go. You got mobs have 2x loot generation, Zem of 1.1, and no instance EXP penalty. So instance EXP penalty is like what we were looking at earlier. The penalty that you receive when you're in a raid, right? When you go raiding with people, you really don't get any XP. So that's regards to that. But the 1.1, a zone-wide player kill message, yeah. So if you die, it announces it to everybody. But if we go back here, and what are we gonna look at? Oh yeah, Zem. So let's look at Zem. We can go to Kunark. So you can see that the 1.0 is 130. 1.0 is 133%. 1.1 is 146%. So then if we go down to the Dreadlands, oh shit. We slept on that too long. We're starting out bad. We're gonna have to take care of business here. It appears we have a low-level Yeti, so that's good. We just blew men, though, and I don't think it did anything. But real quick, just to finish that off. So you can see now there are some zones that are higher, 1.2. So if there's any zones that are higher that have a raid associated to them, I'm going to assume it'll bring you down. So that is something to keep in mind. You'd have to look more closely on your own and just, you know, kind of test that out. But the Dreadlands has a 1.0. I guess we'll just look at that one more time real quick. So the Dreadlands, where were we? The Dreadlands has a 1.0, so 133. So we are in here, we're getting boosted to the 146. Being in the PvP zone. Now, again, like I was mentioning in the beginning, there may have been changes to this. I took that little snippet from the first announcement. There may have been alterations or something that I'm unaware of. Disclaimer. But shoot, if you guys got good ideas on where to farm, level, and or farm in a PvP zone, and you're not keeping them to yourself, let me know. I always share my farms, mostly to my detriment, as it creates, you know, more people to show up and do it. But I don't care. I like to share it. If you want to keep it to yourself, that's understandable. But if you don't care to keep it to yourself, drop a comment. That was a pretty good fear. I needed that. I was running a bit low on health there. Oh, what? Oh. Oh, I wasn't paying attention to my XP bar. We dinged again. Wow. That was fast. We got 8 minutes on the potion. That was probably a 50-minute level. That was pretty good. I was not paying attention. I did expect to level during this potion. I guess I just didn't realize how much time has gone by. That was pretty fast, though. Pretty good. I feel like I was watching my skills go up. Behind my face here is like where all my skills are spamming and stuff going up. And I was watching those go up, and I don't know, they were still going up, so I wasn't really... I don't know, as you're seeing, I don't know, you know, you're seeing them go up, you're not expecting to level again as you're watching your skills go up. But we are 40 now, so we are in the hell level area now. So I guess we'll do, well, we're not gonna get another round really, because they're 10-minute spawns. So we're not really gonna get to know like exactly what the XP is gonna be. I'd have to bust another pot, which we're not doing. But probably pretty damn similar still. It's pretty nice to be in the level range. Well, but we are in the hell level, so maybe a little bit less. Pretty nice to be in the level range still, though, where you can just bust a pot and get a level within the amount of time that the potion is. You know, the potion's an hour long. You can bust the potion and pound out a level and have a little extra. I mean, we leveled twice during that, but I had it set up to where we just needed like 4% or 5% to get that first ding. And then we got the entire second level, and then we're gonna kill these things, and who knows, maybe we'll get up 8% here. Might get a couple kills on the next round with a little bit of potion left. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, I haven't really given it too much of a thought. I was in Furiona Vi when I initially started thinking about the PvP situation, and I was like, hey, I'm right next to Dreadlands, and hey, those Yetis are like prime leveling. So I just ran over here and started doing it. I think I need to sit down and really think about it and think of some good places to go and level in the PvP zones. Now, what I do know is that there are a lot of people who are like, you know, there are a lot of people who just, you know, they're there for the bonuses. I'm here for the double loot. I'm here for the little bit of better XP. I don't want to fight you if you don't want to fight me, you know, kind of situation. There's a lot of that going on. Bring up WoW again. If you've played WoW, you know, you might be in a PvP, you're in Stranglethorn Vale and you see the Alliance over there or whatever, and you're just like, bro, I just want to finish my quest. Like let's just finish our quests and get out of here. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like that, you know? Sometimes it's not. So there are some people who are in the PvP zones who don't necessarily want to fight you. So you can coexist with some sort of truce. I'm sure this is where guild tags come in, you know? Depending on what your guild tag is, somebody may or may not kill you. You know? You never know. There are guilds that are very friendly with each other, and you know, or maybe you just know somebody in the other group, like, oh shit, you know, 2 of those people in the other group are in my guild. Or I know a person, my friend in real life, my wife, or whatever, you know, is in that group right there. And so you might be like, hey, yo, like, that's my wife's group, so if we want to just leave them alone, or, you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be all kinds of little caveats and stuff that goes on. It's all new to me. Like I said, I was playing the solo self-found hardcore situation, so I haven't really experimented too much with any of this on here. But it does sound fun, some good stuff. We'll get some of this in the future. I didn't record any of my session that was this morning. Maybe it's out already. I know Sendrith did record, so he'll put it out on his page. If it's not out already. It might be. If not, it'll be soon, I'm sure. But he did some recording. We had a full group for a while. We went into Sebelis in the PvP zone. There were other people in there. I won't give like spoilers or whatever on the goings-ons of the video, but basically we were going in there to check out loot, to check out XP, to check out drops, all the things that PvP brings. There were some other people in there. There were deaths. And it was a good time. We had a nice little session. And we were kind of learning together, you know, the ins and outs of the PvP zones and stuff. And you can see whether you die to a mob or not. If you die to a mob, it announces it, and it shows the mob who killed you. And if another player kills you, it'll say so-and-so in blank guild killed so-and-so. So it puts everything is on blast. And, you know, some classes get around easier than others. Some classes have invis. Some classes are rogues, you know, and rogues can, they can get by live, they can get by undead, and, you know, they can probably more easily, you know, get past C invis stuff and the likes. All right, so we still have 1 minute on the potion here, or greater than a minute. So let's see if we can blast maybe this in the next Yeti. And then screw the meter. We'll see exactly how much XP we actually got, because we were at 96 when we started. And we fumbled the bag with the weird Yeti thing in the beginning, where I feared the Yeti and he went into the world and disappeared and then came back. We lost time with that, but that's okay. We'll include that. Shit happens. So here's the pat, and it looks like based on the timer, we're gonna get this pat down as well. So I'm gonna say we got 115%. We got an entire level, plus we're gonna get 11 now, and then we're gonna get the 4 in the beginning. So we got 115%. Not bad, not bad. Look at that. Rich boy. But now you've seen me here for almost an hour. We'll finish up this hour by clearing the rest of this run. But you can use that to take it upon, yourself to make your own opinion on the drops. You've seen what we've gotten. We've gotten a couple paradots. We've gotten these jaspers, which aren't worth shit, but they're dropping. Just because they're not worth shit doesn't mean they're not dropping, right? We've gotten a good amount of those. I think we've gotten 2 opals. I had one on me already. The jade ring was already on me as well. We had a flawless aquamarine, but here's another one. And don't sleep on these flowers either. They sell for, depending on your charisma, but you get about 20 plat a stack. It's not bad. And when I did a few rounds before recording, I did get an emerald, an aquamarine, and an opal, and this ring. So I did, and I got a jasper as well. One of those jaspers was from before. So I was getting stuff by doing a few rounds as well, prior or before. We're also getting these essences of winter, which maybe people buy. I don't know. Do people buy those and craft with them? I'm not even sure. But I think those are like decently rare, but they're starting to pile up. We got 7 of them now. So, oh shit, I had my hands off the keyboard. So, you know what I'm thinking. Wait a minute, why is my haste not on? Oh, it is on. Oh, okay, we're good. You know what I'm thinking is the burning wood has an instance zone because there is stuff to kill there for, clerics and whatever, right? Wait, is this true? Does the burning wood have an instance zone? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Because you spawn that. I don't think it does, actually. Because there's a book in the burning wood. That book is to Skyfire. There's no book in the Dreadlands outside, like the Dreadlands zone line. And is there a book at the Frontier Mountain zone line? I don't think so. I don't think there is. Dang it. I was going to say, once again, if there was an instance version, killing the giants, if you do Gurgle's Pukok, that guy drops an opal almost every time you kill him. And so you'd be getting opals for days off of those giants. Now, a lot of their stuff is like lore, so that kind of sucks, but as for the opals there, you'd be getting a ton of opals at that camp. My money seems to add up pretty quick, so I am curious about the money situation. because I went to the bank and got rid of all my money. But I did sit here for a little bit. Maybe you noticed what it was when I opened my inventory at the beginning of the video. I'm not sure, but it seems pretty legit. Definitely just a nice little twist. Once again, nobody ever came. Nobody ever came to this zone. Of course, this one's not a popular zone to come to. If you're looking at Cebalus, if you're looking at I mean, I don't know. You know, you do /who all Charduk, right? There's one dude there. You know what I'm saying? Is he in the PvP zone? Maybe. But if he is, who gives a shit? You know? It's one dude. There's these zones that have, like, you know... So if you take a group to Charduk, which nobody ever does on this server, then you can... You know, what? Who all the hole? Who all hole? One dude in the hole. If you take your group to the hole, just go into the PvP version. Double drops, all that kind of crap. Get a bunch of withered. You know, go to the undead camp. Again, watch the Zem, because I think it might get worse. I don't know if there's a caveat. I don't know if they have a thing where they're like, well, it won't make it worse. It'll just bring it up. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm sure many of you out there know way more about this than I do, so definitely put it down in the comments, drop some knowledge on me. Was I interrupted? Sweet. Oh, there's an Onyx. That's a new one. It's a new shitty one though, right? What is that? Let's check it out. What is this, like gold? 6 gold, yeah. Anyways, nobody's ever in these zones. But Cebalus, it seems like there is always somebody in there. Whenever you go in there, it seems like there's a couple people in there. Typically. Trying to think of some other zones. A sneaky one's gonna be like City of Mist, right? There's an instance version of City of Mist, right? You go in there for the Shaman Epic and whatnot. I think. Is there? I don't even know. I'm pretty sure there is. So that's another sneaky one, you know. Go in there. If you're a class that has Levitate, you know, get up on top. Solo, duo, do whatever you want up on top. You're kind of out of the way. Nobody to really mess with you too much. If they do, you can kind of get away pretty quickly. You can just float down and out. You know? Yeah. I think there's some ways to utilize this for some fun. Anyways, tell me your ideas. Where are some good farm spots? What do you already know that I don't? What has changed that maybe I'm not updated with? I'm gonna call it there. I got a game to go watch with some buds. I will see you in the next video.